my name's Galen Tutnick. I have been teaching music since 1985. So this is my 39th year of doing it, and I still absolutely love it.
And how many years have you been at Saguaro now?
This is my 29th year at Saguaro.
29th. Do you like teaching at Saguaro?
Well, I've been here for nearly 3 decades. So I live in this neighborhood. My son went to school here. I love Saguaro because it really is a great mix, like the real world. My father was a teacher. He taught chemistry and physics, which was not an area that I was interested in. At a very early age, I was really attracted to music. My parents gave me a record player, and I had records that I collected all throughout my youth. And I had a voice teacher my junior year of college who really helped me find my voice. And she said, "You are a soprano, and not only are you a soprano, but you are a coloratura soprano, and you have a very flexible voice. You should be singing opera." Of course, I didn't know anything about that art form at all, but once I got exposed to it, I just became like a sponge, and I started listening to opera compulsively. When our library sold all of the LPs in my college town, I bought them all for like $1 a piece. And then I just listened to opera constantly. I attended every opera that I could. When I get interested in something musically, it's like it calls to me, and I can't ignore it because it will haunt me in my dreams. So I studied opera and I got my degree in music education from the University of Nebraska in 1985. And then I taught for a year in Doniphan, Nebraska, which is a town of 800 people. So I was the only music teacher for the high school and middle school. So I taught choir and band at the high school level. I taught beginning band, and then I taught all the way up through 12th grade for choir and singing. So I really learned what I liked teaching in music and what I didn't like teaching in music. I Phoenix for 4 years at Clarendon Elementary, and I actually met my husband teaching at Clarendon Elementary. He was a substitute teacher one day outside my classroom, and he was making his PE class count jumping jacks really loudly. So I opened the door to see what was going on out there, and we locked eyes, and here we are 30 years later. So you just never know what music is going to do in your life. It might help you to meet the person that you're supposed to be with. So I taught in Clarendon for 4 years, and then I really wanted to get back into teaching high school because high school kids, they are my people. Oh, yeah. I am basically a high school kid trapped in a 62-year-old body right now. You'll get by if you smile through your fear and sorrow. Smile and maybe. I think that music is a great confidence builder, and it's something that teaches you that through hard work and dedication you can do amazing things. And I always encourage my students to keep riding that musical train for as long as you possibly can. If you go to a town where you don't know anybody, join a community choir or a church choir or something like that, and that will help you to meet people. The act of teamwork and having to collaborate with others. These are also things that I think you learn in the music classroom really, really effectively, probably better than you would learn in, like, say, a math classroom where you're not doing a group activity, you're kind of doing your own work. So cooperation, so many things music does for kids, but I would say mainly it builds confidence, because once you get really good at it, you take that confidence that you gained as a musician and you apply it to every aspect of your life. I had a student who, as a freshman, her name was Kennedy, she took private voice lessons with me, and every time she made what she thought was a mistake, she would apologize. And she, through the course of any hour-long voice lesson, she would apologize to me 20 times. And finally, I just said to her, Kennedy, stop apologizing. You're doing the best you can. You just, if you make a mistake, you deal with it and you move on. And slowly over time, her confidence grew and grew till she was doing solos in my choir program, and she went into the top choirs here and was a soloist and did a solo number in Century of Song her senior year. But it's when she went to college and she went to UCLA and she tried out for an a cappella group. And she got in, and she has subsequently traveled the country during her years of college. She's a senior this year. And just like on the movie Pitch Perfect, she's in these a cappella groups that go all over the place. And I see her soloing and dancing on the stage and just full of this confidence that she literally did not have as a freshman in high school. And to see where she's taken that now, it's just like, this is why I get out of bed every morning. Because to me, that's like watching a flower blossom.
Definitely one of my favorite things is the amazing community and the fact that I can feel like I can talk to anyone.
Yeah, any like public speaking thing. I've done, Jack being like going out and doing gigs on my own with me, Elliot, Kyle, Connor, Cade, having those experiences and being able to stand up and really speak out.
I love to perform. The feeling of satisfaction that I get when we all get to come together as a program and showcase what we've learned and what we've worked on. It's just the best feeling.
It helped me with musical theater. It helped me with so many things, and now I'm just a lot more confident.
It's given me something to do, and basically just made me find friends and made me feel welcome at school.
I think that music in general, music helps me in choir, and I love listening to music in choir. It just brings out a side of me that I don't really get in any other classes in school.
And just like interacting with people, like you're just more comfortable and more like confident with your like other things in life. So like you could just connect with other people over like something like music. So that's why it's so like good in this class.
Getting to sing with everyone in the choir makes me feel more together with them.
Probably one of the most important parts of my day is coming in and singing with people. That's a bond that you can't find in other things. It's a real intimate bond between the people next to you and just all around the room.
We can be silly with each other, but we can also like create the most beautiful sound, which is really cool.
The world that we're living in right now is one that is full of vitriol, of violence, and discord. And music combats all of it. Music is what teaches us to recognize beauty. And if we don't teach the children what are the beautiful things in life, what's actually worth living for, then I think we're really sunk as a species. I grew up in a family where my mother's had bipolar disorder, and my father was a functional alcoholic and used alcohol as a means of dealing with my mother's bipolar disorder. If I hadn't had music teachers who took an interest in me, who spotted my talent and helped me develop it, I honestly don't know where I would be right now. Music was the making of me, and I have seen music be the making of many people. Hasn't everybody had the experience of you're having a terrible day and you get in the car and one of your favorite songs is on the radio, and suddenly in a few seconds your brain chemistry changes and you're tapping your toes and you're singing along? That's how powerful music is. I've always said that I think that love and music are the two most powerful forces on earth, because I have seen love and music change people's minds, change people's hearts, and even change their souls.
Though, which is really, really weird how you can still make everyone laugh. But like, I love it, and I still don't know how you do your tone.
Oh my God, face.
You made it count bearable. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I don't think that mediocrity is an option were words that were ever said to me. It's just the idea. And it came to me from my very first band teacher. Her name was Carol Polich. I'm still in touch with her. And I've actually had the opportunity to call her and tell her how much her teaching meant to me. But when we were in the 4th grade, we had a practice sheet. And we had to document how often we practiced, and we had to get our parents to sign off on it. And then we would have playing tests in class where we would have to play individually in front of the other students. So if you hadn't practiced, it was pretty obvious that you hadn't practiced. And you would get this look from Mrs. Polich of real disappointment, and you never wanted her to look at you that way. At least I never wanted Mrs. Polich to look at me that way, because I revered and respected her. So I worked really, really hard, and her idea was, look, this is where the bar is. I'm going to motivate you, I'm going to make you believe in yourself, and you are going to get over this bar. And that was where I kind of got the idea that you got to get over the bar, because the bar is not going to be lowered for you. Mediocrity is not an option. Here we go, girls, to the boys' show. Probably is my biggest takeaway, that you only get this one life to live, and you can't let it be mediocre. You can't let it be less than. You can't not push yourself and discover your potential and what you're truly capable of. And the reason that I think that is that recently one of my students wrote a book called Tasting History by Max Miller. It was the #2 bestseller on the New York Times best-selling list last year. And he gave me a copy in which he wrote, "Your greatest lesson to me is mediocrity is not an option." And that's the way it should be for everybody. You should not ever settle for less than your best, because if you do, you're not getting the most out of your life. And we don't know how many days we're getting in this life. And what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to make as much music, as much joy, bring as much happiness and love into people's life through music as I possibly can.